What if the person you trusted to drive you home was the very person who would disappear you forever? The street was slick with rain. Neon from a gas station flickered across the wet asphalt, reflecting in Teresa Renshaw's anxious eyes as she glanced at her phone. She tightened her jacket, feeling the chill of evening crawl into her bones. Teresa's Uber app pinged. Jordan Hale, 32, 5 stars, verified. She hesitated for barely a heartbeat. The car's headlights cut through the mist like a blade, and then the back door opened. She stepped in, unaware that this short ride would stretch into the longest, most terrifying night of her life. At first, it seemed ordinary. The radio hummed softly, a scent of citrus drifting from the air freshener. Teresa tapped her fingers nervously on the seat, scrolling through messages to her sister Tessa. "Be there in 11. Jordan's eyes were fixed on the road, calm, polite, but there was something in the way he adjusted the rearview mirror that made her chest tighten. 3 minutes in, the route subtly twisted off the mapped path. The city lights blurred past, unfamiliar streets stretching under the wipers. Teresa glanced at her phone. The blue dot wasn't moving toward home. She swallowed hard, the first prickling of fear crawling up her spine. Route deviation detected. The first text from Riley popped in. "You almost home?" No reply. Her thumb hovered over the phone. A silent plea for reassurance she didn't dare speak aloud. Was this a wrong turn? Or the first step into a trap? Her mind raced. Every instinct whispered danger. Her heartbeat drummed against the seatbelt. Jordan's calm voice broke the tension, asking if she wanted the windows up. She nodded, barely noticing the subtle change in his tone, the faint edge beneath the ordinary courtesy. The clock ticked. 9:21 p.m. A street lamp passed. No familiar landmarks. Jordan didn't answer her small attempts at conversation, just hummed along a song she didn't recognize. Every turn stretched time. Every stoplight loomed like a question she couldn't answer. Main suspect, Jordan Hale, 3 minutes past expected arrival. She pressed her hand to the window, watching the lights smear into streaks. She whispered to herself, "This isn't right." And in that instant, a door that should have been opening to home felt impossibly far. The car slowed, and she realized she had no idea where she was. Somewhere between the first blink of neon and the next stoplight, Teresa vanished into silence. And outside, Tessa's phone buzzed with the last text, "Be there in 11. How could one ordinary choice spiral into a nightmare no one could see coming? Teresa's apartment door clicked shut hours earlier. The scent of her vanilla candle lingered, soft light spilling over her desk cluttered with textbooks and a half-drunk cup of tea. Outside, rain pattered against the window like impatient fingers drumming a warning. She left her keys on the counter, her backpack slung loosely over one shoulder. Texts to Tessa were cheerful, casual. "See you soon." She didn't know that the path she chose tonight would stretch time into a trap. Her laughter with Riley earlier that day felt distant now, swallowed by an unsettling quiet that had begun the moment she left her building. Teresa's steps echoed on the wet sidewalk, sneakers squeaking lightly. She hugged the bag of groceries to her chest. Nothing heavy, just ordinary items she picked for dinner. Every familiar corner now seemed foreign, every street lamp suspicious. Unexpected detour ahead. Her thumb hovered over the phone, ready to text Tessa again. But the app pinged. Still en route, still moving somewhere unknown. The blue dot's motion didn't match her destination. Was she lost? Or was someone guiding her somewhere she didn't want to go? Fear had a voice now, whispering in her mind. She tried to rationalize it, maybe traffic, maybe a glitch. But the unease in her chest grew heavier with every unfamiliar turn. A street lamp passed. The reflection of Jordan's eyes in the rearview mirror flickered. Calm, polite, but unreadable. The hum of the engine became louder, more insistent, like a heartbeat she couldn't match. Main suspect, Jordan Hale, 7 minutes past expected arrival. Her hand clenched the seatbelt. The window was fogged with condensation, her own breath a reminder that she was trapped. She whispered to herself, "Something's wrong." And in the blur of streetlights and rain, Teresa realized She wasn't just going the wrong way. She was already too deep into the unknown. What if the road beneath you isn't taking you home, but somewhere you'll never return from? The streetlights blurred past Teresa's window as raindrops streaked across the glass. Her backpack pressed to her chest, damp from the drizzle, heartbeat syncing with the soft hum of the engine. Jordan's hands gripped the wheel with controlled precision, eyes calm in the rearview mirror, unreadable but watching. The GPS showed her blue dot moving, but not toward her apartment. Each turn the car made felt small, almost invisible. Yet the unease inside her chest grew sharp. She realized too late. She had no idea where this ride would end. Fear wasn't a sudden scream. It was a slow crawl, tightening around her ribs, whispering that this night would never be ordinary again. The engine purred as the sedan took a side street she didn't recognize. The app didn't beep. No updates. Only the reflection of Jordan's calm eyes. Her thumb hovered over the phone, one touch away from calling, but a strange hesitation held her back. Unexpected turn. 9:22 p.m. She glanced out the window. Fences, empty lots, shuttered shops. Everything familiar disappeared. Even the neon glow of the corner diner failed to reassure her. Something in the quiet was deliberate, patient, waiting. Was it just a detour? Or had she stepped into someone else's plan? Teresa's mind raced, piecing together tiny details. A turn too slow, a street lamp passed twice, the soft scent of something metallic mixing with the air freshener. The normal comfort of a rideshare felt like a lie. Her fingers tightened on the seatbelt. Rain streaked the windows, blurring the road ahead. Jordan's voice broke the silence for the first time. "Almost there," he said, but the tone was too smooth, too rehearsed. Main suspect, Jordan Hale, blue dot moving, but destination unknown. Time seemed to stretch. Minutes felt like hours. Every instinct screamed, "Get out." But there was nowhere to go. The city lights became shadows, and the hum of the engine was louder than any traffic noise she had ever known. And in that silence, with the rain beating on the roof, Teresa understood. The wrong ride wasn't just taking her the wrong way. It was taking her somewhere she couldn't escape. What would you do if the person you loved vanished in plain sight, and no one believed you? Tessa Renshaw slammed her keys onto the kitchen counter, phone still clutched in her hand. The clock blinked 9:45 p.m. Outside, the rain drummed on the asphalt, each drop like a pulse echoing her panic. Teresa hadn't called back. Not once. Not even a quick running late text. Every second stretched her fear tighter, and Tessa's chest felt like it would split under the weight. It wasn't just worry. It was terror, a raw, gnawing certainty that something had gone horribly wrong. Tessa's first instinct was disbelief. Maybe Teresa had just lost signal. Maybe she'd stopped somewhere. But when she dialed again, voicemail, her mind skipped ahead. What if she never comes home? 9:50 p.m. No response. She grabbed her jacket and ran to the street, flashlight cutting through the rain. Every familiar street corner looked different in the dark. Every shadow could hide an answer or a threat. Would the ride's GPS show her sister? Or would it vanish like she had? Tessa's mind raced through possibilities. Detour? Car breakdown? Accident? Or worse? Her throat tightened as she imagined the soft click of a car door closing, but not on the front porch. She called Riley Cortez, Teresa's best friend, her voice shaking. "She's missing. I think something's wrong." Riley didn't argue. She didn't hesitate. She grabbed her keys. First call for help. 9:55 p.m. Two women, running through wet streets, calling Teresa's name, flashlight beams dancing on puddles. Cars passed, unaware of the panic threading through the night. Each shadow flicked across their path like it might hold the answer or the danger. Had she really gotten into the wrong car? Or was something far more calculated happening? By 10:10 p.m., they reached the last known GPS ping. The screen glowed in Tessa's trembling hand. The dot hadn't moved, and in that frozen blue light, a silent truth pressed down. Someone didn't want Teresa found. What if the truth was sitting right in front of you, and everyone insisted it wasn't real? Officer Blake Merritt squinted at the dashboard screen, the glow of the GPS reflecting off his badge. 10:22 p.m. A lone dot marked a sedan parked in an empty lot, headlights off, rain streaking the windshield like tears. The car's route didn't match the app's map. Every timestamp told one story, every driver's statement told another. Blake felt the first chill of suspicion crawl up his spine. It wasn't just a lost ride. It was a thread dangling into something far darker. Blake traced the GPS again. Stop. Move. Stop. No explanation for the detour. He called dispatch. Get me Teresa Renshaw's ride history. Every ping. Every stop. GPS ping. 10:22 p.m. At the same time, Riley and Tessa arrived at the lot. Flashlights cut through the rain like knives. Their breaths came in short bursts, eyes darting over empty asphalt. Every shadow suspicious. Was Teresa still in the car? Or had the lot swallowed her like the night itself? Blake's instincts screamed. Something about the driver's story didn't add up. His gut said, check every detail. Miss one. And it could be too late. They noticed the sedan. Parked oddly, engine cold, license plate partially obscured by mud. Blake stepped closer, flashlight tracing the mirrors, tires, windows. Inside, faint outlines of clothing, maybe a bag, but nothing else. Suspicious vehicle, no driver. Then Blake noticed it. A small smear on the passenger seat, dark and sticky. Not fresh blood, but enough to raise every hair on his arms. Tessa's gasp cut through the rain. Riley grabbed her sister's hoodie from her backpack. It was missing. Had Teresa ever left the car? Or was the driver hiding something far worse than anyone could imagine? By 10:47 p.m., Blake radioed the precinct. We need backup. And a search team. Something's in that lot. And it's not going to stay hidden long. What if every answer you were given was a lie carefully built to trap you? Detective Blake Merritt stared at the interrogation room, fluorescent light buzzing above. 11:13 p.m. Jordan Hale sat across the table, calm on the surface, but Blake could see it. The flicker in his eyes, the tremor in his right hand. I don't know where she went, Jordan repeated. His words were smooth, rehearsed, but the timestamps on the app didn't lie, and they screamed the opposite. The driver's story had cracks, and each one exposed a deeper shadow no one was ready for. Blake played the dashcam footage again. The car slowed at an intersection that didn't exist in the official route. Jordan's hand dipped out of frame for 4 seconds, unaccounted for. Blake's gut twisted. Riley and Tessa hovered by the precinct's evidence board, tracing the car's path with sticky notes. It doesn't make sense, Riley whispered. He should have ended the ride here, but he didn't. Was Teresa trapped somewhere off the map? Or had the car already carried her into something irreversible? Jordan's calmness felt like a mask stretched too tight. Every pause, I don't remember, screamed rehearsed innocence. Blake knew. The truth was inching closer, and someone's story was about to unravel. The toll camera placed the car 30 minutes west of the intended drop-off. Gas receipts claimed a stop that never existed, and the GPS showed 27 minutes of idling in an abandoned industrial lot. Blake slammed the dashcam pause. The frame froze on Teresa's reflection in the window, calm, trusting, unaware. Her phone still pinging in the lot. Tessa's face paled. Riley gripped her arm. She didn't get out. Had Teresa's instincts sensed something wrong, or had the driver silenced her before she could? By 11:47 p.m., the room was thick with tension. Every timeline, every stop, every lie pointed in one direction. And Blake whispered to himself, we're chasing ghosts, and they're leaving pieces behind. What do you do when the person you trusted most becomes the heart of your nightmare? Detective Blake Merritt stepped into the abandoned industrial lot. 12:03 p.m. Rusted crates cast long shadows over the damp concrete. A faint stench hung in the air, sour and metallic. Blake's flashlight cut through the gloom, landing on a hoodie draped over a crate, gray, familiar. Tessa's hand flew to her mouth. Riley's knees buckled slightly. Teresa's phone lay next to her, still warm. She had been there all along, trapped by the very hands she once trusted. Blake called backup. Officers moved quickly, careful not to disturb anything. Every footprint, every scuff on the concrete was a clue. The dashcam footage, toll receipts, and GPS led them here, minute by minute, lie by lie. Found, 12:10 p.m. Jordan Hale was arrested later that afternoon. Not a word of confession. Not a trace of remorse. DNA evidence and Teresa's belongings in his car left no room for doubt. Tessa held Teresa's hand as paramedics led her out. Riley whispered, "She's safe, finally." The relief was palpable, raw, and yet heavy with all that had been stolen: time, trust, peace. The media would report on the ride, the missing college student, the hidden industrial lot. But here, in this quiet, justice was already unfolding. Jordan's plea deal ensured he would never drive another car in anger or deceit again. Justice served, Jordan Hale arrested. Teresa's eyes met Blake's. Silent gratitude. The world outside would call it a rescue, but inside, it was more than that. A restoration of safety, of trust, of the right ending finally claimed. Every lie, every deviation, every second of fear led here. And in the end, justice did not wait for the headlines. It arrived quietly, firmly, and irrevocably. Teresa returned to her life, stronger and wiser. But not every story ends this way. If you want the voices of the forgotten, the truths behind the vanished, and the justice stories that won't be silenced, subscribe to the Veil of Secret, because here we make sure the stories never go unheard, and justice is always remembered.